What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Build, Burn, Become. I'm Fred Moore, and sitting across from me once again, Mr. Ken POTUS. What's happening, bro?
Hey, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. This is going to be an easy day for me because I'm just going to sit here and read off of my phone all these questions I got lined up for you.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, just want to do some plugs.
Yeah.
So number one, we have to mention my man Stanton Hunter, who is the main cog of the wheel for this here podcast. He's over there hiding behind these bright lights that he shoves in our face. And he's crushing it with multiple camera angles and, like, you know, just like that high-def video right there where I'm pointing. How awesome is that? You know, I love it. So he's at Rogue Wave Cinema on Instagram. Rogue Wave Cinema. And photography needs, video needs. He does it all. Check him out. Give the lad some of your business if you can, please. And another awesome, super duper sponsor that we have is Fireline. I'm wearing a Fireline hoodie right now. Fireline makes workout clothing, the hoodie. They also have, they got these lifting straps. I know you don't use them. I use it, but you gotta understand. I'm actually like a little older than you.
Yeah, right.
But I act like I'm younger than you.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think I could just lift whatever and do multiple reps. I noticed that with lifting straps, I can lift heavier, and okay, but it actually helps me prevent some elbow tendonitis. Yeah. Which is great because that once that comes in, it beats me up. But the lifting straps, I know you're thinking like, what's the big deal? Well, guess what?
What?
These are like the Cadillac of lifting straps.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. They actually have like this rubbery impregnated grip inside the material.
Okay.
And they went a little extra and they added this padding that goes around the wrist.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. I love wearing them. So they make those, and they also have really good whey protein, which I know you're plant-based, so that doesn't help you out either. But they also have other things like branched chain amino acids and really cool shaker cup. I know. What's the big deal about a shaker cup? Well, believe me, there is actually something special about the shaker cup.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that some other time, though. And then, basically, if you want to support this podcast, it would be helpful to purchase something through Fireline. And we have a special discount that you can utilize. So what you got to do is you got to go to @BuildBurnBecome on Instagram, and you click the link in the bio, Fireline link. You have to click that link, otherwise you can't get the discount. You go in, you do your shopping, and at checkout, you use the all one word. It's Build, Burn, Become, and you get 25% off. And you will be super duper ready to go. And last but not least, shout out to this awesome gym we're in, Critical Mass, which I got one word for this place. You're gonna like.
Let's hope it's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one.
What do we got?
Dope.
Dope.
It's dope.
With a period at the end.
Scott, do you use that word?
No. All right. No, that's a no. That's a no from Scott.
He's like the same age as you.
Right.
And I'm using that word. I think it's like from the 90s.
I feel like it started in the 90s, but it's hung around pretty good considering.
Yeah.
In certain crowds.
I'm keeping it around.
Right, no, you should. Yeah, single-handedly.
I think I said it to one of my chiefs one time. Hey, Fred, how's everything going today? Things are dope.
Nice.
And he goes, "You're a dope." And so, basically,
fair. You're going to get that. But I think it's still around, maybe in somewhat of a sarcastic kind of way. But the word is out there. I mean, there's no denying it.
Oh, it's out there. Yeah,
it's out
definitely.
There.
And, but that, you know what? All busting aside.
Yeah.
Critical Mass, awesome gym. We get to shoot the podcast here. And we're in this cool room in the back that we decided to try out the acoustics and everything. We'll see how it goes with this. You got to remember, this podcast is just a experiment in progress at all times. Kind of like our political system here in the United States, right? It's always a work in progress. Right. So, that's us. And Critical Mass has become kind of like a new little home for me. I love working out here. and then we do the podcast. And, if you come down and you check it out, if you're in the Jersey Shore area and you're looking to weight train, you're looking to get fit, we talked about it in the last podcast. Ken does mace work, kettlebell. There's other trainers here, all kinds of awesome things happening. I would encourage anybody to check it out and see if it's the kind of place that's for you. Critical Mass, it's at Critical Mass NJ for Instagram. So, yeah, that's it. Plugs are done, thank God. Yes. So let's get to some questions, bro.
Yeah, let's do it.
First, all right, so
very cool, man.
Where are we at here? So, okay, I want to get to some fitness questions.
These like straight up rapid fire fitness questions.
Just going to blast you in the face.
We both get these. I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah, well, you're good at throwing spit. So, you're gonna crush the microphone with these.
I'm gonna rap on these.
That's another one.
Drop some truth bombs.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, does getting sore mean anything? Like, does that mean you had a good workout?
That's a good question. That's one I get a lot, and it's something that people will say to me oftentimes as a fun. It's kind of like a fun passing like badge of honor kind of thing. Like, I did such a great workout. I'm sore. Yeah, man, I'm feeling it. You know what I mean? Like, you get that from people, and they're probably right. I mean, most cases. I would say overall, though, getting sore usually stems from inefficiency in a movement. Now, that's not the worst thing ever because we can't all be perfect at everything all the time. But, like, if I don't squat forever and then I go and squat, lo and behold, usually the day of, if not several days later, I'm going to be sore. Like, my hamstrings are going to be sore. My muscles are going to be sore. Hopefully my joints aren't sore. Hopefully I was doing it correctly. Right. But it means that I wasn't efficient in that movement because it's not something I do very often. And it works with a lot of these movements. So it means, there's going to be some slight soreness. You should feel it. You should feel, the way I describe it to people, you should feel your muscles like singing a little bit. Like, you should be aware of them. You know what I mean? Right. That means that you probably challenged yourself. You might have overloaded yourself just enough to get a stimulus. I don't think there's any world where no one is ever sore ever. You just don't want your joints to be sore. You might have to take a step back there, but you should feel your muscles like I said, singing for a few days. And it does. But that being said, you could get sore from doing nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, the one example that I've heard some strength coaches say is like, you can get your triceps sore by taking a fly swatter and just whapping it on the table 1,000 times. Doesn't mean your muscle's growing, or that you're in better shape.
That's a good point.
It means that you use that muscle in an unusual way and you're sore.
So when you weight train, you're causing micro tears, right?
Right, sure.
So the soreness isn't an indicator of like massive micro tears. It's just an indicator of it's lactic acid, right?
Judging the workout as a whole based on like soreness or the pump or anything like that is not accurate. Okay. I would say it's going to happen more oftentimes than not. You should be stretching and recovering to kind of reduce it, but it doesn't mean like, wow, I'm sore. I must have really done awesome. All right, had some awesome workout. It doesn't go hand in hand like that. It's a little different category.
This is good because I think a lot of people, when they start an exercise program, if they feel sore and then they don't want to feel that again. and truth be told, a lot of people go overkill their first couple sessions and they feel really sore. Yeah. They can't even. I had a buddy who couldn't even lift his arms up to scratch his nose.
That would be like delayed onset muscle soreness. I'm guessing he hadn't been in the gym in a while and then just went crazy on curling some stuff or whatever, maybe some rows.
He was curling 40s.
There you go. And to him that might seem reasonable because maybe he did that a few years ago or he sees somebody else that's roughly his size doing it. And it might, in a few months that might be realistic for him, but it's just knowing that going in cold like that and not doing it, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the delayed onset muscle soreness. So he's not efficient at curling 40s. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that his workout was way better than yours because he's more sore than you. Yeah. It means, you're like if you were to do the same thing and curl a challenging weight, you'd be sore, but it wouldn't be to that level because you have been, doing that a little bit more.
Sure. Okay.
So it's there's a lot of ways to interpret it.
Yeah, that's good to know. And by the way, it was 40-pound dumbbells. He was curling 40s of beer.
40s of beer.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he got sore. So that's how weak he was.
40 ounces. Yeah, 40 ounces to freedom.
Right. There you go. So, yeah, all right, that's good. And then the next question would be, should people stretch before or after a workout?
Tell you the truth, there's a wide definition of what it is to stretch and get loose. I'm not one of these people that needs to have like a 20, 30-minute sweat session of all kinds of dynamic moves and foam rolling and all that stuff. I would say for most people, you want a good dynamic warm-up, 5 to 10 minutes, getting the blood pumping. The way I work it when I do my group classes or my clients here is I usually go top down. We stretch the neck, stretch the shoulders, torso, get loose in the upper body, and then we get into some lower body stuff. Make sure I hit the hips, get some practice hinges and squats and stuff in there. Nice full body dynamic warm up. If we're doing something a little more intense, maybe get somebody on the treadmill or the bike or something like that and just really get the blood pumping. So I would say the before is probably the most important if I had to pick one. You don't want to go in cold. You want to get a nice dynamic warm up and get the blood pumping and get yourself a little bit loose.
Right.
Afterwards, I will usually do a light stretch of a few things. And just to be clear, the opening one is a dynamic warm up, meaning so there's not really any static stretches in that. I'm not nothing against them. If your shoulder's stiff and you want to reach and grab a door jamb and kind of work that out a little bit, it doesn't mean that static stretches is no good.
Right.
Just before a workout, you'd rather more of dynamic movements. That's what we're kind of built to do. And then sometimes I'll do some light, more static stretching at the very end of the workout. But to be honest, you could just do some dynamic moves, and most people are fine after the fact. Definitely prioritize if you're like real short on time before the workout.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. It's been a while since I had a personal trainer, so this is what everybody does. They get to the gym, they look at their watch, they're like, I got an hour, I really want to get my training in. Normally I do this, 15 minutes of stretch or 10 minutes of stretch, but today I'm just going to do like 3 minutes. And then the next time they come, they go, just forget it. I'm just going to get right to the workout. And then they start skipping on their proper warm up. Yeah. And that they don't realize is really making their core workout
not as great.
Not as great. And since I've been getting personally trained by you, we spend that extra time doing the warm up, and then when I'm off training on my own, I'm still doing that because it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that my everything I do training wise feels better.
Sure.
And then even the next day I feel better.
Sure.
It's definitely a super important thing, and it's so easy for people to overlook because they don't get that instant gratification from it. But it's definitely
doesn't
there.
Look pretty.
Yeah.
One more add on to that would just be, especially if you're doing compound lifts, take a few warm-up sets, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if we're doing deadlifts or squats, that's like a big part. It's not necessarily right in with a dynamic warm-up the way I structure it, but we do the dynamic warm-up. We do, movements that get let's say we're doing a deadlift, get the hamstrings loose, get the legs loose, get you moving around. I'll even do some like glute activation drills, and then some things like that, and then we really slow, work up the weight.
Right.
I'm not just jumping right into the weight that you can do.
Yeah.
I know you can do it, of course, but you definitely, the best way to warm up for those compound lifts is actually just on top of the dynamic warm up, doing some light warm up sets with those dynamic lifts.
Yeah,
those compound lifts,
Right.
Squats, deadlifts, bench, stuff like that.
Yeah, prepare the body for what's coming.
Right. Yeah, ease it in there.
All right. So now, what about people who have limited time for their workouts? I know time is pretty much like one of the biggest constraints, and it's also one of the biggest excuses that people use. Right. But regardless of which, you still need to train, you still need to exercise or do something in your life.
Right.
So what if I only had 20 minutes to my day that I could devote to a workout, and we just got done talking about how it takes about 10 minutes to do a proper warm-up?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What should I do now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when it's these short time intervals, which is also like the toughest thing, is usually the person that's rushed and maybe doesn't have as much guidance as well. But if you go in for that 20, 30 minutes and have a plan, and have a stopwatch or a timer, or I have an app on my phone called Tabata that you can do time intervals. And I think anyone can go out there and find it. It's Tabata, Tabata.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different ones. You can get time apps for your phone and do intervals with that. So if you go in and pick, it depends on what equipment you have. Let's say you have minimal equipment, you're at home, right? You can go in there, and I would stick to the basics, like compound movements. Maybe you do a set of lunges, set of squats, either a light deadlift or something like that, some push-ups, things like that. And I would do like a HIIT circuit, high intensity interval training. Maybe you do 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds off. We've had some classes that are a little short, and but if I shaved a few exercises off, could be 30 minutes. And usually they're more like 35, 40, some of our HIIT classes.
Right.
But if you go in with a plan and write it down, maybe it's early in the morning, the next morning, and you don't have a lot of time, or if it's during lunch, go in at least the night before and write down like 5 or 6 exercises to do. Do like a light warm-up set, and then just set the clock. Maybe you get 5 rounds in there of those 5 exercises for, and the between, maybe you work for 40 and rest for 20.
Right.
And then you got like 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're better off doing that than just spinning the wheel and doing, not getting much else done, or trying to, force this complicated thing into a short window. You're better off going in with a plan, and make time be your friend.
Right. Yeah.
Be organized.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Make your enemy your friend.
Right. Yeah.
That's make your strength from your weakness. So
right. That'd be the best strategy that I could come up with there.
That's good. Yeah. And I mean, like I even think about it like when we're fighting a fire.
Right.
We go through a tank in 20 minutes, but that's like if you're breathing normal, pretty much. Like
right.
You could go through a tank in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, you're breathing.
Yeah, it depends on how hard you're working. But all right, let's say I go through a tank in 10 minutes. I got to leave the building, and I'm gonna just grab a drink of water.
Sure.
I'm huffing and puffing. I'm sweating. I'm all pumped up.
Yeah.
I just had like an awesome 8-minute workout.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna change my tank and I'm gonna go back in, but it's like it depends on your intensity level.
Sure.
And like I think by preparing yourself ahead of time, like you just said, writing down a list, you're already getting your head in the game.
Yeah.
You the night before you already know what you're gonna do.
Get if you can, get a water bottle with your water or sport drink or whatever of choice, whatever gets you going. Get your clothes laid out.
That's a big one, right?
That's
there.
a big one. It just gets your mind in the right place, and maybe even just write out on a sheet or something for yourself what you're gonna do. Have the app or timer or whatever time device you want ready, and then just head in there and set the timer and you're good to go.
Crush.
Yeah. do your thing.
So it almost makes 20 minutes sound like it could be up plenty of time. Really.
It could be if you do it that way. Maybe you wouldn't want that to be every day, but you could definitely pick up a couple extra days per week.
Did you
ever
see
little stuff like that?
On the infomercial for the workout system they sell the DVDs for? It's called Time 15.
Oh, I've seen the
it's
T20
like
Beachbody guy.
Yeah, something like that. It's like
Sean T Beachbody 20-minute HIIT exercises.
I don't even know if
He's
it's
got
20
one.
minutes. It might be 13 minutes or something crazy. But it's supposed to be high intensity body weight. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's a gimmick there or not. It's not something I would buy, but they're tapping into the same problem that people feel they don't have time.
Yeah, no, that's always going to be something. I even have clients at home. Maybe I train them once or twice a week here, and I send them home with stuff like I just described to do, if they're running in between stuff with the kids before work or whatever.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be even super high intensity, depending on what your goals are and where the person writing this for is at. But even if it's just greasing the groove on these movements, these super important movements,
right?
Staying loose with those and burning a few extra calories, that's super valuable. It goes from maybe working out here 2 or 3 days a week and then tacking on another 1 or 2 at home.
Right.
Those 1 or 2 at home are going to add up. Sometimes I'll even give people a goal sheet with a listed amount of minutes I want them working out a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, see, you know, if you can only make to this class and see me on this class, let's try to get 200 minutes this week. So each of the classes would be 45, 50 minutes. Then you got to do a couple of these 20-minute burners at home.
Right.
It's 100% better than not doing it at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah.
So much better. So,
Yeah.
and you stay loose, your body stays active. So
Right.
I love that. Love that.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
It can be done.
All right, so now we got done with our workout.
Yeah.
What should I eat after my workout?
There's a lot of strategies with this. It really depends on your time of day, things like that. A lot of times we hear about like getting these protein shakes and stuff in after, like immediately after.
Right.
There's been studies out that say that window of time is a lot bigger than we used to think it was.
Right.
Even just a few years ago. So we used to think, all right, I've got like this 45-minute muscle building window where I just finished and now I have to like chug this thing down.
Right.
And like hopefully have it ready and be home in time and mix this thing and chug it down.
Running red lights.
Running
together.
red lights. Yeah, right. Yeah. Or just, chugging it, before you like leave the gym, whatever.
Otherwise you lose all your gains.
No, yeah, you wouldn't want that. All the gains that we all have. Anyway, you should. I have no issue with like. I think protein supplements are a good thing, generally speaking. Essentially, unless there's some product in it you don't agree with or something like that. But overall,
a protein powder.
Yeah, protein powder. Yeah, why not?
Like what? Okay, so I know there's a ton of protein powders out there.
Yeah.
What do you like to use as protein powder? Because you're a vegan.
Yeah. So I like to. I like obviously plant-based protein powder. I try not to like over rely on it. I don't think any of us should be like.
Do you have a particular brand you like?
There is a few. There's a few. Common ones that you'll see around are Vega, Vega.
I know it. Yeah.
Really solid. I would say some people don't love the taste of certain kinds. Like the one I find to be the safest that way is it's called Vega Sport Performance, and it's the chocolate one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Sun Warrior is another one that's kind of around. Sun Warrior, Warrior Blend chocolate, really mild taste. The thing with the plant ones versus the whey ones is that the plant ones are such a wide variety. There's so many different things you can be made of, which is a good thing, and it can be, it could change the taste or the texture. So, but there really is so many good ones. Plant Fusion is one that I believe they make it in New Jersey that you see everywhere. Like if you're in New Jersey and you're getting a smoothie somewhere and they have a plant-based option, there's a really good chance it's Plant Fusion.
Oh yeah.
And it's a really mild flavor. They have a few different lines of it. They have a lot of really cool flavors. They have like cookies and cream flavor. That's supposed to be incredible. I've had that a couple times. I usually just go for the plain like chocolate or vanilla, but like Plant Fusion, great one. You see that everywhere. And one I'm using right now is called Clean Machine Green Lentine Protein. It actually looks almost like a super greens powder, and it's made from a water plant. It's called a water lentil. That's a nickname. Lentils being like beans, high protein, really healthy food. This is like they've kind of call it the water version of that. So it's like really nutritious, eco-friendly, easy to grow, and the stuff itself you can find it online. Clean Machine, and it's like a dark green powder. It's got a mild vanilla taste, almost like a super green supplement. And essentially, when you look through the ingredients, one of the cool things about a lot of these plant-based proteins, you get a lot of extra stuff with it, like a lot of vitamins. So this one is like especially like chock full of vitamins. You got omega-3s in there from ahi flower oil. And then you also have some added fiber, which is great. A lot of the plant ones have fiber.
Right. That's good.
And then you also have like some extra green supplements in there. So that's what I'm after right now, but I will mix it up. But back to the question, I would say eat what seems good to you. One of the things that might be advantageous is protein and carbs together to like replenish your carbs.
No fat.
You can have some fat.
Okay.
You can have some fat, but I'd say prioritize the protein and the carbs as far as just post-workout, because that's protein and you're recovering and rebuilding. Carbs, you know what I mean? You're replenishing your carb stores. You're building up your energy. Carbs and protein work well together, especially if you're building muscle. So maybe it's like a piece of fruit and a protein shake. Maybe it's like some rice and beans type of dish.
Yeah,
something like that.
I heard that, they did a lot of research on blueberries, and blueberries are great for after a workout. Again,
Yeah.
you're just getting like a good fruit with the
Yeah.
with the carbs, but it's got the antioxidants in it and everything,
Yeah.
so it helps with muscle damage and whatever
Very cool.
inflammation you might have from your workout. So, a protein smoothie with frozen blueberries.
Yeah, you're covered. You're
banging.
covered.
I mean,
Easily
that's-
covered. And
right.
again, remember, you don't have to chug it, guys. You got some time.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
try to get it in before the end of the day.
Yeah, just take human bites.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
All
That's
right.
good. Yeah.
And then, all right. So that's what are your power foods then? Like, do you
So
have?
for me personally, and also I recommend this to a lot of people. So I personally eat, as Fred mentioned, like vegan. So 100% plant-based, and it's been that way for almost 6 years now. And I haven't eaten meat since like 2008. So been working my way through it a lot of different ways. It's to the point now, especially the past like 2 years or so, I've really kind of like not just been getting by, but leveraging it for performance the same way anybody else would. That's somebody in the gym or as a coach or an athlete that's like trying to lift and feel great and all that stuff. So really been leveraging it. I would say most of what I eat is you could call it like whole food, plant-based nutrition, which if you follow that, if you look it up online, that's kind of what they're going for kind of the gold standard as far as like health. And now I'm kind of throwing like an athlete spin on it. So I'm eating maybe a little bit bigger portions and more protein, stuff like that than you might see. And there's some great resources and people that I follow that have done this and have, helped transform their bodies for good and transform their health too, even in not so apparently obvious physical ways. But there's a ton of benefits to that. So power foods for me, I would say you go back to those like filling, nutrient-dense whole foods. A lot of times when I tell people that I eat only plants, it's like, what, dude? You're like, you're eating salad? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I really, I include greens and stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm eating salad, really.
Right.
That would, a big bowl of salad is, maybe 100 calories. It's not going to get it done. If I'm
Right.
trying
How
to,
many
like,
calories
lift.
do you try to get a day?
For me, I'd say like maintenance is around like 3,000.
Yeah. So that's so many calories. If you would be wasting your time with a salad. That's precious time to eat.
Right, it'd be a
something
side dish. And
yeah.
I feel like that goes the same for people, even people who eat meat and stuff too.
Sure,
like
right.
Some of the salads and stuff, especially stuff at the restaurant, it's not geared towards your health. You're pretty much just eating the dressing. You know what I mean? Like calorie wise, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think of my meals as sort of like when I'm meal prepping and stuff as like some power bowl. Like how do I cover a lot of stuff with nutrient dense food?
Cover all your bases.
Cover all my bases. Yeah, and it's funny, I see a lot of other people plant-based and not that have similar approaches or whatever. So like oatmeal is a huge one for me.
Me too.
Just to power me like through the morning,
Right.
or sometimes I'll have it at lunch even too.
How much oatmeal do you have when you?
It depends on my goals and what else I'm eating that day,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'll get like 2 cups, which is a pretty significant amount.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, 2
But-
cups is pretty solid amount. It helps me get there.
Yeah, I'm trying something though. The past 2 days I've avoided oatmeal.
Yeah.
I would eat a cup and then another cup 2 hours later.
Yeah.
But I was noticing I seem to be a little bloated and stuff. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah, it's just too much. But I said,
sometimes it's just a
I said,
lot.
let me back off completely and start all over again. So I'm just doing Ezekiel bread and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like a banana, which I feel good. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oatmeal's a big one. And tons of you get good carbs, you get fiber, you get a lot of
protein.
decent amount of protein.
like 10
It's
grams.
not like protein packed, but I would say that you're like if you're eating other protein foods and oatmeal's in the mix, like
Yeah.
that's the way I look at protein.
Right.
It's not all coming from one place.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think we all should kind of just diversify that idea that like you don't need to have some huge hunk of like meat or something very specific to get your protein. It's
Right.
like you look at what you're eating over the course of a day
Right.
and even track it if you have to, and it's more of a cumulative effect. Like those nuts and seeds and all that stuff I eat, it's full of protein.
Sure.
Seeds are another back to power foods. Seeds are huge. Pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, especially chia seeds. You want to soak those in water. It makes almost like a jelly, and you can either mix those in your smoothies or make I make a little pudding thing with it.
Oh,
you with chia, a little bit of like plant protein powder.
I've added it right into my smoothie.
Yeah,
but
you can do that too.
You just soak it first just to help it.
Yeah, you don't want those chias to be like those little like
pebbles.
hard rock pebbles. You want them to at least be soaked a little bit.
Right.
So that's a great superfood. Omega 3s, all kinds of minerals in that. Oatmeal too, a lot of minerals. There's some iron, some stuff like that. Just covers a lot of bases, especially when you look at the micronutrients too.
Yeah.
Really covers a lot of bases for you. So those are big ones, and there's like all the beans and things like that, like lentils, chickpeas, black beans are like my big.
So there's plenty. I mean, it's just
you pick hearty filling stuff. Right. And you pick out you set your goals nutritionally, and if you log it in, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how much you can actually get. I noticed plants just from doing even mostly plants.
I noticed that if I eat a nice steak the night before a big workout, I feel much better. And I love oatmeal and whole eggs. I mean, I eat a lot of egg whites, but when I'm looking for power, I got to throw the whole eggs. And that's because, the egg has most of the nutrient in it. The yolk has most of the nutrient in it. So, you're skipping a lot of, you're almost eating nothing when you do egg whites. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm on a diet, so I'm just eating egg whites and like a slice of toast. And they're almost getting nothing. They're really like it's
when you measure that out,
you're better off having the yolks.
Almost, man. I mean, or at least throw in some. I like to always include like those nuts and seeds. Like that's just calories and useful calories and fats and stuff like that. Right. So that's where most of my fats are from, all that stuff.
Yeah, so. And you're not gonna get fat because of that.
No.
In fact, that's a myth that they prove that eating fat doesn't make you fat. It's
or carbs either.
Right.
Really? I mean, there's people that eat like literally like high carb plant based diets. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm in that camp, but there are people that are eating like a dozen bananas.
Yeah,
and like
4 sweet potatoes.
Right,
and
sure.
You're not going to get fat from eating a sweet potato.
No, well, if you're exercising and if you look at it, if you're under your calorie table there, if you're in your zone, anything.
Sure. Right.
So those are things that are definitely good for you. It's not like you want to be. Any diet that says that is having you kick a nutrient out, like low fat or low carb, you got to watch that.
Yeah.
You got to watch that because we're definitely built to take in some carbs and fats there.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so now I have a really deep question here for you.
Wow.
All right. Do you wear boxers or briefs? No.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging thing for you in personal training?
In personal training, man.
Or are you just so damn perfect, nothing challenges you? It's like
I would say everything challenges me. I think that's a healthy way to look at it.
Yes,
to see everything as a challenge and just do your best all the time. I would say it's just the idea that like I have my people that I work with and I have a great rapport with and we work great together in class or just anyone in the gym that I have rapport with. And it's just like the idea that like you almost wish you could be multiple places at once and like help more people, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you wish you could save everybody. I wish I could go to every giant gym where people are making mistakes and just help them out and help them feel better about themselves.
Kind of like omnipotent, like a god, like a god. Like you could just like somebody in Singapore who's got bad form and you could just reach out of the sky.
Like X-Man, Professor X, and just like send messages like,
right.
Use your legs, like I don't know if that's even a realistic It's kind of a ridiculous answer to a big question there.
No, well, it shows you have a sense of urgency to your profession. So
right, sure. So
that's
it's like
what the question was designed for.
You can't save everybody, and you can't save everybody like right away. Sometimes people they're not ready to hear the information or get into that lifestyle right away because they have their own hangups, and like you got to respect that too, because sometimes there is stuff. Although I want to be like hardcore trainer guy, this is the best thing ever. And it is, you know, it can help in a lot of ways in your lifestyle and your mental health too. Sometimes there just is stuff that gets in the way of fitness, and like you have to handle stuff with yourself and your health and your family first. And you know what I mean? So trying to just get people through those times in a way that's healthy without pushing them too hard or not challenging them enough.
Right.
Some of my people that I've had that maybe they're going through something, they respect the fact that I can still find ways to challenge them effectively without like making them feel like overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So that's something I kind of finesse a little bit there that I enjoy. It's part of the job. You know,
that's a good answer because you know, how do you answer something like that really? Because life changes, your position changes, your mentality changes. So something could be challenging tomorrow that's not challenging today. But what was revealing about the answer was that you basically said that, you know, you're here to help people.
Right. Yeah.
And that's such a wholesome quality, you know, that's going to always make this job an awesome job for you and make you feel good about what you do.
Sure.
Which, you know, there are trainers out there that are not feeling that way.
No, yeah.
And if you're hooked in with one of them, you're gonna not probably get the best workout, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just something that people should look for when they're looking for a personal trainer, you know, like you know, and that's a good question to ask a trainer now that I think about. Like, you know, you interview the client and you get to know them better. You know, as a person coming to a personal trainer, ask that question. Say, hey, how long have you been doing this for? So what's the most challenging thing? And see what their answer is.
That is a deep one, yeah.
Yeah, and if the trainer gives the kind of answer you just gave, that's probably the kind of trainer you want to hook in with because
and not everyone's answer is going to be the same or whatever, but like you would hope that people would at least be thinking about that.
Yeah, you're looking for like a deeper layer kind of.
Like they're thinking about their job and their daily purpose of it.
Yeah, the purpose. Exactly. Purpose. Yeah, everybody should try to have a purpose. It's motivating.
Sure.
And okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Before we sign off.
Yeah.
And speaking of motivating, I saw this on the internet too. So like they're like, oh, motivation's not real. It's not motivation. It's discipline. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel motivated. Sometimes I feel disciplined. I don't try to gauge which one it is. I just know, like, hey, I feel like doing some weight training. I feel like eating right.
Yeah.
And then those times when I don't, I just go, I guess I'm not motivated, or maybe I'm not disciplined enough. But what is it really? What's the answer here?
Wow. This is brought up a lot actually, and we talk about this. I've even talked about this with other coaches and trainers, and like. It's another one of these kind of like philosophical kind of things, and a lot of it comes down to the personal definition of what motivation is and what is discipline. And some people think that like when they hear the word discipline, there's like immediate resistance of like, oh, I'm not disciplined. Like this isn't, you know, some drill sergeant, you know, discipline.
Yeah,
like
right.
there's different levels.
A guy like that looking at you, yelling at you.
There's different levels of discipline, you know what I mean? But I would say it's the discipline that I think of is more like purpose and accountability. And like when you are looking through it in the world of fitness, using, you know, holding yourself accountable or having a group of people around you to hold you accountable. Again, that social circle, we're humans, we're social animals. That's great.
Yeah.
That's part of discipline. This is all why we do our structure the way we do it.
Right.
We try to do it because motivation is real, but it is fleeting by definition. It's motivation. It's no one's going to turn everything around just by being motivated by itself. But you got to take it when you can get it. If you're feeling motivated, do it. Like, don't say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take it when
Seize
you
the
can get
day.
it. Seize the day. And maybe that becomes one step closer to being disciplined and having it as an unbreakable habit of yours. That I think it really comes down to how you define yourself in your purpose, in your space. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's if you think of yourself of I have to be disciplined, it may not make sense right away. But if you start forming strong habits, and this is the reason why I'm doing this, and this is the big reason why I'm doing this, it starts to take shape what your discipline is.
Yeah, right.
So I try to guide people to find what is discipline for them. in a way that's productive.
Yeah,
in
not
the
somebody
gym.
else's idea.
Yeah,
because that's not going to work
It's
either.
not going to be boot camp or
Right.
whatever you want to think of it, or something crazy every day.
Yeah.
It's just, all right, week in, week out, month in, month out. This is the kind of discipline that I can commit. I expect myself to get to these workouts to better myself, so I can be better for my family, better at my XYZ.
Right.
That's, I think, discipline. Another thing that helps that is gratitude, which is another word that's like thrown around all
Yeah.
over in social media,
Right.
usually associated with some sort of like humble brag, like,
Right.
oh, I'm so thankful for like my beautiful whatever.
Right.
And it's usually like some car or something
Yeah,
dumb. It's like,
right,
oh,
right.
I'm so blessed, I'm so
Yeah.
thankful. But like in reality, not to be such a grouch yet again, which I can do that sometimes, but in reality, like actual gratitude, like I could be doing something else, but I'm thankful that I'm in a position where I can better myself,
Right.
and that this is a part of my life that I can enjoy and use. So if you're thankful to be doing it, that's a good sign. If you can repeat it for long term, that's a really good sign. If you understand, even if it's in some vague way, the purpose behind your exercise or your strong habit, that's a really good sign that you're disciplined or headed towards discipline. So those are my big takeaways from that one.
All right, cool. Yeah, and I've had discussions with people about motivation,
Yeah.
and in here, I don't know, man, I'm just not motivated. But then I ask them this question: well, what are you doing
Right.
that's going to motivate you? I mean, you're not just motivated. Something has to motivate you.
Right, yeah.
So what do you do? What are you reading? What are you watching on TV?
Right.
Who are you getting advice from? So like if you like in the beginning of the podcast, we did the 7 habits. If you read shit like that, maybe you're more likely to, even though it's corny,
Right.
You're now your brain, you're rewiring the way you think. So
Yeah.
that's going to help your motivation,
It will help you motivate yourself, but on the flip side too is like
That it's
I
fleeting.
see unmotivated people all the time still getting it done because they're hanging with their habits.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right. The habits are the most
goal.
important
The
thing.
goal should be discipline. It shouldn't be, I saw something and I'm motivated now. It's kind of just like a natural like emotional response. And again, use it if you can to structure a way that you can be disciplined for yourself.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Sense
and then,
of purpose at the end of the day. I think
and then the gratitude thing.
Yeah.
The one thing about a gratitude journal, because I did keep one for a while and I tried it out, and I got caught up in that whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's not a bad thing.
Why it works is because if you go day by day, you're going to look back on what you wrote yesterday, and you're not going to want to just keep repeating yourself, but you're going to start running out of stuff. So so the first one is like, I'm thankful for my house and my car and my family. It's like very general, whatever.
It makes you get deep on yourself.
And then all of a sudden, like, you're like, dude, I don't know what to write. And I can't leave for work until I finish this. And then you start looking around, and like, maybe like one time my daughter was like just playing, and she looked up and she made a cute little joke.
Yeah.
And I was, I'm grateful for that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I'm not just fishing for it.
No,
but
it was a reminder,
and
and you're
it-
like, oh wow.
The little things in life, how
Yeah.
they really matter. And
Does
it's
make
not
you
the
care
car,
about
it's
that.
not the house. Although it's nice to
Right.
be able to provide a roof over your head. But
Sure.
it's like those little things. Those are the things that count. So that's what I realized about Gratitude Journal. And then I stopped doing it.
Because you were motivated and not disciplined.
I don't mean,
But you got the gratitude out of it. And
Right.
you're a guy who's full of gratitude, and you have no problem. You found other outlets for it.
Yeah,
You're expressing
yeah.
it here.
Right.
You're expressing it, when you speak to your
Good
friends
point.
and loved ones. So
Yeah, good point.
It got you to where it
Right.
served its purpose.
Right, right.
I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For now. And who knows? Maybe I'll get back to it. But yeah, that was some really good answers. I didn't think. I really didn't have faith in you, man. I thought you were gonna bomb, man.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, let's see
I
if he
was
can
hoping
handle
not
all
either.
these questions.
Yeah.
And there was only one left, and that's all right. We could talk about that some other time because we're gonna wrap it up. This was a good podcast. Went a little long. Maybe we'll break this into 2 and make it a part 1, part 2, and then we'll just like go on vacation for 2 weeks and not have to worry about nothing. So thanks, bro. That was good. Thank you everybody for checking us out. Remember, Ken, you can find him on Instagram. He's at Ken Plant Beast. And well, if you're watching this, you're already on the .com or you're on YouTube. And if you're listening to it, you're already on SoundCloud and iTunes. If you're on iTunes, can you please leave us a review? Be honest with your review and tell everybody how great we are. But be honest when you do it, all right? But yeah, review would help because that'll bump us up a little bit in the rating system. And then, again, please visit our sponsor, Fireline, and Rogue Wave Cinema, at Rogue Wave Cinema. Check all that out. And Critical Mass Gym. All right, thanks, everybody. Take it easy.